Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Dana Buckler Show. My name is Dana, and I'm joined live in studio with Kane Parks.
How's it going, everybody?
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Listen, thanks for doing this.
Yeah, of course.
You got a crazy schedule, so the fact that you're able to come, sit down in studio, it means a lot.
Of course.
And throughout the years on this show, I've always been, really fascinated about people's journey. And you were on my girlfriend's podcast a couple years. Well, I guess it would have been sometime last year.
A year and a half ago.
A year and a half ago. Mm-hmm. And I remember listening to that episode and telling Jess, I got to have Kane on my show sometime because it's just a great journey. It's a great story.
Thank you.
You're an actor.
Yes.
Okay. And help me understand. Because I wasn't 100% sure. Are you living here in Florida or are you living in LA right now? Are you just kind of back and forth?
So I live in Florida. I'm kind of in the South Central Florida area.
Okay.
And I kind of just go back and forth wherever they need me because a lot of stuff is online now, like with self-tapes and callbacks and all that's online. So I don't really see the point in paying $3,000 for a studio apartment when I can just have a house in Florida.
You did live in LA for a period,
did.
though. And we'll get to that.
Okay.
So Kane, let me ask you this. How do you go from living in Denellen, Florida, and I just want to paint the picture for everybody listening here. Denellen, Florida, it's in Marion County. Mm-hmm. It's, probably Marion County most well-known for Ocala being the biggest city there. Denellen's kind of a smaller town.
Right.
How do you go from in high school to I'm booking a part on Grey's Anatomy? I'm teasing a little bit of our conversation a little later down the road, but how does that journey begin?
Honestly, it's just kind of trying things out until you really find your path. I started in TV production at Denellen High School, or Denellen Middle School, actually. And really, it's just like a class you take. You really don't think anything of it. And then I would just make short films and submit them in like videos. Like Florida Kid Care was a big one we would do. It's like insurance for kids or something like that. And we would film, like our teacher would be like, hey, the topic is Florida Kid Care, create a video kind of promoting it for this company, and then we submit it to like other middle school competitions, and then our video actually won the whole thing, and I was the lead actor in it. So I was like, wow, that's actually pretty cool. I won it was like $500 and then like a little gift card I won. So I was like, that's really cool.
That's awesome.
And then I got to high school, and then because I was in the TV production in middle school, they kind of put you in it into high school as well. And my teacher there, Miss Smith, she was actually like very big on, because like middle school is like just have fun with it, but then she was like, you have to write a script, you have to write what they're going to say, you have to write what the scene's going to look like. So it kind of opened the door to me as far as like just what filmmaking is and the process behind it. And I never listened because I was like, I don't want to sit down and write all that. I just want to film some stuff with my friends, walk around school. But it kind of planted that seed of like, this is the way it works. And then after that, I did 4 years of that. I didn't really like submit for any awards or anything. Nothing crazy really happened. And then I remember in high school, I was always kind of like, oh, I'd like to be an actor. That seems like something like I feel like I want to pursue. But of course, being from here, you don't really know anybody that does that, and you have no idea how that works. So it's kind of like that's not a realistic idea of doing things. And I was really big in sports too. So for me, I was like, oh, I'm gonna go play in the NFL. I'm gonna go do something of that nature. I just don't know what it is. And then in high school, I had my girlfriend at the time. She did like a lot of child acting, and her mom was still really good friends with her old agent that lived in Orlando. So she was like, her mom was kind of like, oh, if you're kind of into acting, I can introduce you to the agent. Or she was going to have like lunch with her or something. So I just tagged along, and the agent was like, oh, I really like your look. Let's do some headshots real quick. So she had a setup at her house. We just did some headshots, and then it was more for just commercials at first. I just because Orlando's a big commercial hub. Yeah. And I did a Wawa commercial. I think it was like my first or second ever commercial, and I booked it. And all I had to do was like move a coffee pot over. So they're really just looking for like a young look for the commercial. And I moved the coffee pot over. It was like an all-day shoot because acting on set takes forever. And I remember I got residuals from it because it was like, it wasn't a national commercial. It was a big regional commercial. So every time it played on TV, I would get a check for it. And I remember I was like sophomore, junior year of high school with like $15,000-$20,000 because it just kept coming in. And I was like, this is actually kind of cool. So then a couple months later, I booked a Bright House commercial. And then that was just like a one-time check because it wasn't anything big. And then I was kind of like, wow, that's really cool. But then when you're in high school still, it's like commercials is cool, but like I really want to be like on TV for like film and stuff like that. But I don't even know where to start with that. So it kind of started and died there. And that was like the beginning of it.
Okay.
And then I started getting bigger in sports. So I was getting like smaller offers here and there. And then I was like, okay, I can actually go somewhere with like football and I can take it somewhere. And then I ended up getting injured the summer before my senior year. And I was just kind of like really lost. I didn't know what to do.
So at this point, just want to kind of set the stage here. So at this point, you've done some commercial work.
Yep, two commercials.
That's got to be incredible in its own right. I mean, and then obviously for people that don't understand residuals, okay, so you get paid to do the commercial,
right?
But somewhere in the sort of the contract that it states that you're going to get paid every time this commercial airs,
right? And
the bigger the commercial, the bigger the audience, you said it's not national,
right?
But it's certainly regional, and you just continuously get paid for it as many times as that commercial goes on. It's like that's really fascinating. Okay, and TV works that way as well. I mean, we'll get to that.
It does, yeah.
When you say sports, what sports are we talking about?
So I played football and baseball.
Okay.
And I ran track as well, but football was my main focus.
Okay.
Baseball was kind of just like I had played it since I was 5, and all my friends played it too. So it was just a really fun sport. I was good at it, but it wasn't like I was like, oh, I'm going to go to the MLB. But It was just a fun, cool down sport from football. And then track was kind of like one of our coaches was also the track coach. So he was like, I'm going to get all the fastest guys to just run track for me. So that's kind of, we didn't really practice. We just went to the meets and took off.
Yeah.
But football was it. I remember I went up to Clemson to do a camp, and my coach, I had got letters from the University of Florida, and one of the coaches up there, the running back coach, I forgot his name, but it was in the works to give me a verbal offer. So that's my coach was telling me that. My principal from the school told me that. He's like, hey, you're about to get offered by Florida. Like, just keep doing your thing. Now, I never got it officially, so I don't really know in terms of what was going to happen. But, you tell me that at 17, I'm like, yeah. But I went
in Florida, by the way, I'm sorry to interrupt there, but Florida is for anyone that's not into college football.
My dream school. It's huge.
It's one of the predominant football programs in the country.
Right.
I mean, so it's not like it's a big deal. It's a big deal. Even you must have been losing your mind.
Yeah, like I had took my visit there. I met the players. I sat right on the edge for a game. Like I was watching the game from the sidelines. They gave me my pass. I got to meet everybody because I had gone to the camps from like 8th grade freshman year, and I was running the 40s there, and my 40 was like a 4.42 or 3 there. So the coaches kind of like were keeping an eye on me. And then when I got to like my junior year, they could talk to me. They kind of like kept sending me letters and letters. And then the principal pulled me aside and he was like, hey, I spoke with the coach was talking to us, and they said they're about to give you a verbal offer. And I literally tore my PCL like 2 weeks later up at a Clemson camp. And the week after that, I was going to go to Florida State as well to go to their camp. And they were kind of saying like, if you can run that same 40 time, we'll be in the talks as well. Now, again, it's all just speculation, but that was kind of where my mindset was. So when I tore it, I was kind of like, I'd never been injured before. So I was like, oh, I'll be all right. Like I just, work out a couple, train it for a little bit. I'll be fine. But it just, the mental aspect of it. And then trying to play, like I had a huge brace on. I didn't really train in the brace either. I was training like without it and then would try to play with it. So I never really found my rhythm after the injury. And it just led to me feeling kind of lost because I graduated high school, and then I was just I was going to go play football at University of West Florida in Pensacola. Yeah. But I got there and their football program wasn't developed yet. So they didn't really have like a field. Their locker room wasn't really there yet. And then I was just taking visits to like Florida State, Clemson. So in my mind, I felt too big. You know what I mean? I had to swallow my pride. I couldn't do that at such a young age. So I was like, oh, I'm not doing that. Like, I'm not going to play here. And I wasn't going to college for school. Like I wasn't in there to go to class every day. So I went there for literally like 4 days and I dropped out. I was like, I'm not going here. Like, I'm not going to do it. So then I spent that whole year after high school just not really knowing anything to do. I was working like a little job in the mall, kind of just hanging out with my brother and my friends. And then I just like the new year, or kind of like Thanksgiving after my senior year, I was like, I got to play again. Like I got to play the game again. And then I reached out to a trainer in Ocala. I reached out to my high school football coach and I was like, hey, if there's anything you can do for me, like I've only been at school like 6 months. If there's anything you can do, just if recruiters come to the school, kind of just give him my tape on the side, just say, hey, he's been training for a year. So he did that. And I ended up get an offer to go play at UCF in Orlando.
Okay. Yeah.
So I went out there in like June, end of May, the next summer. I took that year to train, went in May, and then I did summer, and then I did a season at UCF, and then I lost the passion for it. Like, it wasn't really for me anymore.
When you did a season there,
right?
I mean, what's that like? I mean, I know you say you lost the passion for it, but what's day to day like? So
it was like a full-time job over there. I remember. I think workout started at like 5:30 in the morning, 5 in the morning. So I had to be up at like 4:30. I had to get to the workouts. We had to work out, and then workouts, because you work out in different position groups. So I wasn't working out for like 3 hours, but it was like a 30-minute hour workout of like high intensity. So we'd work out to about 9, and then practice would be from like 9 to 12. And then I had classes starting at 12. So I had to, like, as soon as we got out of practice, like, sprint, quick shower. Sometimes you couldn't. And the other players had it too. Like, it wasn't just me. And we had to, like, sprint to class. And then my classes would be scattered throughout the day from like 12 to like 4 or 5. And then I'd have meetings and workouts again from 6 to 8. And then when I had to do all that homework and then do all that and then be up again at like 4:30 in the morning, and then games on Saturdays, and then treatment on Sundays, and then practice on Mondays. So it was never like a time off. And I honestly just didn't have the right mindset when I went. I didn't have a work ethic then. I was kind of lazy in a sense back in the day. So I couldn't wrap my mind around doing that. And then I wasn't, like, I was trained, my knee was better, but I just couldn't see myself going to the NFL through this. I was like, I'm not really going to waste my time when I could pursue something else. And don't get me wrong, it was great because they have speakers come in. You learn a lot from the experience, but just personally, it wasn't for me. So I dropped out of UCF that December, and then I moved to Los Angeles that January.
Okay, let's talk about that decision to move to Los Angeles. Okay, so you've dropped out of UCF, right? At this point, sports is not right. It's not what you're going to do,
right?
Okay, you've booked some commercials prior to this. That's a big decision to move to LA,
right?
You know, and you hear the stories all the time. You know, 10,000 people a day move to LA to pursue that,
right? And
99% of them, nothing ever comes of it.
Yep.
But that wasn't the case for you. So let's talk about the decision to LA. And I want to know the details. Like, when you say I'm going to move to LA, question number 1, do you know anyone out there? Question number 2, where are you going to live? What kind of decisions are being made when you make that decision?
So I moved to LA right after, so I lied. So I dropped out of UCF in December. January, I was still, I just worked for a year. Like, I just did like a little, I think I was like bussing tables or something.
Sure.
And then I met one of my best friends I was working at Olive Garden. One of my best friends worked there as well. And then one of my other best friends I've known since we were kids, he had a regular like full-time job, but we're all the same age. So the decision didn't come until like August. And then we moved January 1st of, I think it was like 2018 was when we moved. So yeah, I took a year off from school to just work, just kind of figure out what I want to do. Yeah. And in that 6 months, the first 6 months, I was like, you know what? I wanted to be an actor back in the day. Like, I have nothing to lose. I'm going to just go for it. Like, let's just see what happens. So I'm like hyping everybody up. Like, let's come with me. Let's get out of here. Like, we're not doing anything here in Ocala, but besides just wasting time, just hanging out. None of us are in school. Like, we're not doing anything. Like, why not? So everybody, we had never been to LA, by the way. So we're like, all right, let's do it. So we went online and just started like researching like apartments, like cheapest apartment you can find. I don't care where it is. Like, I'm not worried about anything really. Like, it's us three. I don't care. So we researched apartments. We found one in Van Nuys, which is like not one of the best areas, but it was cheap. It was like $2,000 for a 2-bedroom, which is cheap out there back in 2018.
Yeah.
So I took all my money saved, which was like $6,000-$7,000. And then everyone took all their money saved. We packed all of our cars and drove to LA. Just
when you say we, how many are we talking about?
Me, my best friend, and then my childhood best friend. So 3 total.
3 total. Okay.
We got a 2-bedroom out there, and then we took the drive. It took us like 4 days, I think.
I-10 all the way.
All the way, yeah, all the way. And then we get to I don't even know how we got the apartment too, because we were like forging documents to make it look like we had been working. Because you got to have like 3 times the rent, plus you have to been working somewhere for like 2 years. I think there's like requirements, but I'm like busting tables. My other friend's like a server, so like we don't have like steady jobs. So we were like forging documents, like just literally like copying, pasting a company logo onto this, making it look like we worked there. And they were like we didn't even have it secured when we got there. We just like were in the running for it, and then we got there. She's like, "Oh, you got to come sign the papers in person to move in." So we pulled up at like 10 a.m., been up for like 3 days straight. And then we just walked in the office and signed the papers. She's like, "You're good to go." Wow. So we walked in there with like 3 sleeping bags and called it a day. And then we were like, "Let's go to bed. We haven't slept in 3 days." And then we all lay down for like 20 minutes. And then right after, we're up. Yeah. We're up. We're riding around LA. We're like, "This is crazy. Oh my God."
Let me ask you this. Because I've been to LA a few times. And every time I go there, I'm still overwhelmed with how big that city is. What was your thoughts the first time you get on the outskirts of LA? You're probably still an hour and a half from Van Nuys, from the apartment.
Right.
Like, what were your thoughts about just the scope of how big that city is?
So I had been once before. I went once before because my stepmom, she travels for work, so she was kind of like in that year of me figuring out. She's like, "Why don't you just travel with me? You know, just maybe you can work for me. Maybe you can figure out what you want to do," because she's like a consultant for different companies. And I kind of got the first glimpse of it, but it was quick. I was there for like 2-3 days. So the first, I think I was riding like that excitement for a couple months. I was kind of like, "This is amazing. It's different." And then, you don't really think about like paying bills in LA though. That's the difference. Like, it's cool, the idea of being in LA, but then once you're in it and you're at work every day, and then you meet 1,000 people doing the same thing as you, trying to do the same thing as you, and you're like, "Well, it's not working for them, and it's not working for him," and it's like, what am I doing? Like, what's the next step? So that was where mentally I kind of shut down in LA, and then I ended up moving back to Ocala after like 6 months out there. Okay,
during that 6 months you're there though, I mean, you're working. What are you doing for a job?
Same thing, but I'm at Olive Garden busting tables.
Busting tables, yeah. Okay, that's that. You're doing that, but let's talk about what are you doing to try to pursue the career while you're out there for 6 months?
So I went and got headshots while I was there, but headshots are expensive. I think out there was like $1,000, to get your headshot. So I went and I paid it, and I got my headshots. And again, like, a lot of people will say they do quality headshots when they don't. So I got good headshots, but they weren't great headshots. I didn't really do any research. I didn't know how to do the research. Like, I hadn't really done any research on acting besides like, I'm just going to go figure it out. But I wasn't the type to like sit down and research anything yet. So I went out there. I literally was there for like 3 weeks, and I was just Googling like good headshots in Los Angeles. Found a guy, got my headshots done. Thought that was it. And then I got my headshots, and I was like, so now what do I do? Like, how do I get an agent? How do I get a manager? Like, where do I go?
How do I get into SAG?
Right. Yeah. Anything. Yeah. So I was just like, I don't know. And then I don't know like why, but I just didn't have the like, I don't know. I just didn't try to even figure it out. I just thought everything was going to come to me at that age. Like, I was just, you're young. Nobody can tell you anything. Yeah. I think I was like 20, 21. So I was like, I can get a manager and agent now. And I'm just not really doing anything to do that. And then, but first, cause like in my mind, I was like, I have to like secure a better job in order for me to like maintain living out here, maintain having a car out here, all these things. So like, I think that's what it was. Yeah. I was trying to get my bearings like down first before I even tried to jump over to that side. But it wasn't really working for me. And then that was my first time being away from home, like not being around my family or like my grandparents who like helped raise me. So it really hit me when I was like, wow, I don't really like have anybody out here. And I'm trying to do something that everybody telling me is impossible. And I think I let the mental aspect kind of jar me. And honestly, that was the best thing that happened to me, because then I got to come back and kind of just completely reset, let go of any ego, any pride, any identity of who I was. Cause I feel like a lot of times actors get in the game and they're like, oh, I was a football player in high school. I'm this big guy, but you're nobody in this industry. Yeah. You have to know that. You have to understand that and kind of find peace within yourself to then pursue it. So that's what I did. I moved after that. I moved back home and I had to reset.
Let's talk about that though.
Yeah.
So you reset?
Yeah, I come home, I reset.
And we're now in what, 2019?
2018.
Okay. Okay. So
Yeah, because I moved out there January 1st, 2018, came back in like June 2018.
Okay.
Moved back, lived with my grandparents. And it's just kind of like, again, what do I do? Back at square one. Like, I want to be an actor. But in my mind at the time, I was like, it's not possible. Like, there's no way. And then my grandparents are very old school. So my grandfather, and I was living with them, and my grandfather was like my father growing up. He took me to all my practices. So I value his opinion, but he's kind of like, you need to get a job. You need to go to work. You know what I mean? He's like 9 to 5, take care of a family. Like, that's his whole thing. Even to this day, he'll call me and be like, hey, did you get a job? I'm like, I make like, I'm doing good. He's like, nah, yeah, but later in life. I'm like, no. But at that time, I was kind of like, it's not possible. Like, there's no way. Like, I went out there, I saw LA's. It's not.
But you did it though, and I got to say that. I got to say that you did it. So many people don't even take that first step.
And I took pride in that. I took pride in that because I was like, you're right. A lot of people won't even go out there to see what it is. And I did that. So I was kind of like, all right, I'm good. Like, I'll just, go to school for some. I'll go back to school, take it seriously, just do something. So I went back to the same Olive Garden I was at, just doing the same thing. And then I was just saving my money. And then after that, it turned into like a spiritual journey because I went to a Christian school growing up, but I wasn't like the guy that's like in church every Sunday. I mean, I'm still not, but I'm more spiritual now, but I didn't really like pray a lot. I didn't talk to God a lot. And a lot of people will just sit here and call you crazy when you say things like that. But when stuff happens to you personally, you kind of got to like just follow the steps. So really what happened was I moved out of my grandparents' house and I got a small apartment in Ocala, just still working, doing whatever. And I was watching a TV show and one of the actors on the, it was like, I don't remember how I started watching the TV show. It was just on, I think I found it through like Hulu or something. And I was watching the show and I remember I was going to CF in Ocala, which is just a state college there. And I was thinking about becoming a nurse because my grandmother was a nurse. A lot of my family members were nurses. So I was like, you know what? Maybe I can just be a nurse and then I can get some money and then I can maybe double back and try to act again. Cause it's always like a passion of mine. Like I want to try to figure it out. It looks cool. It's what I want to do. So I remember I'm watching this TV show and I see this actor on there and he's not even one of the main characters. He's just kind of like, he's a recurring guest star. So he's on a couple episodes. And I remember like, it was finals week at my college and I had passed all my classes and it was like, you have to apply to get into the nursing program. And it's like a window. And I remember it was like the first day for that window and our finals were the next week. So me and my friend, he went to the same school, he went to the same college and he was like, hey, you want to meet in the library and we can study for the finals? I was like, yeah, sure. Why not? Like, get out of the house, just hang out. So I go to class that morning and I'm like, man, I really don't want to study today. Like for some reason, I just don't feel like, I don't know. I was kind of down. I was like, I don't really feel like just studying in the library. So I was like, I don't really know what I want to do with my life. Like, I don't know if I want to be like, I don't really want to be a nurse. I don't even like blood. Like, I don't even like being in the hospital. Why am I doing this? And I hadn't entered the program yet. So I was kind of like, I got like a couple days to figure it out. So I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to pray about it. Like people say they pray, stuff happens. So I'm going to pray about it. So I remember I was just praying really hard that entire day. Or actually, no, I was praying that entire week. So this was probably like a Monday we were going to study. And then what happened to me was like a Thursday. So that whole week I was like, if I'm supposed to be in a nursing program, God, or if you're even listening, or like if this is even real, like send me a sign. If I'm supposed to stop what I'm doing and pursue acting, because, it's a passion of mine, give me a sign. Like really, really tell me what I'm supposed to do because I have no idea, but I'm open to do anything. Like I'm young still. I have nothing to lose. So we go study in the library on Monday. Tuesday, I'm still praying about it. Wednesday, still praying about it. Thursday, still praying about it. But my friend again was like, hey, we're going to study. A group of friends going to study in the library again. We got finals Friday. You're going to come? I was like, yeah, I'll be there. I leave to go to class and I am in class. And then I get to the library and I'm just like, you know what, guys, I'm just going to go home. Like, I don't even feel like studying. Like, I'm just going to go home. And then I get in the car and I go. And the guy that was on the show I was watching actively walks in front of my car in the apartment complex in Little Ocala, just randomly. Wow. So I was like, there's zero way that's that guy. Like, there's not a chance. Like, there's no way. So I just go in the house, don't even think about it. I'm looking on Instagram and I see his story and it says like, I-75 or something like that. Like he's on the highway. And I'm like, that's like right there, like I-70. But it could be like anywhere, like Ohio, all the way down. Yeah. So he posts another one up and says Ocala. And I'm like, oh my God, that's that guy. What's he doing in this apartment? Like, it's not even like a hotel. Like, you know what I mean? Like you have to live here to stay here. So I remember I was like, is that a sign? I was like, God, if that's a sign, send him in my path again. Like if that's a sign I'm supposed to be an actor or even pursue something in that industry, just send him in front of me again and I'll say something. So I go to the grocery store. He walks in front of my car again in the parking lot. I get nervous because I'm like, oh, no, that's kind of crazy. So I just go to the grocery store, come back. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go to the gym later that day. Still saying, if it's a sign, you know, just send it to me again. That he already sent it to me. I go, walks in front of my car again. And he's going to the pool this time. Or he's going to the pool this time. I still didn't say anything. So I go to the gym. And I'm coming out and I'm like, you know what? All right, I'm done. Like, if it's really a sign, then I'm supposed to, this is like the fourth time. If it's really real, send him in front of my car one last time. I'll go say something. Swear to you. I'm driving back in the complex. The guy walks in front of my car again in the middle of like the complex. I put it in park. I get out. I'm like, are you that guy from that show? He's like, yeah. I was like, what are you doing here? Like, why are you in this? He's like, oh, my brother lives right here, the building next to mine. I was like, what? So then I hop out and I'm like, this is going to sound kind of weird, but like, I think this is a sign that I'm supposed to become an actor. And he was like, what? And I was like, yeah, it sounds really weird, but I think God sent you because I've been talking to him lately and he's a really spiritual actor as well. And he's like, I just got goosebumps hearing your story. And he's like, I'm going to tell you something. When I started acting, I started talking to God. And every single time he'll send something your way, it could be very small, something people just blow off. He's like, follow it and listen to it. And that's what I've done every step of the way. And it's led me to where I am now. From that day forward, I didn't drop out. I finished my AA, eventually went back and got my bachelor's, but I did it online because I was already acting at the time. But my AA, I had like 2 months left. So I was like, all right, I'm just going to finish that. So I did. And then I moved to Orlando. I saved up all my money. Actually, I broke the lease that day. Actually, I broke the lease on my apartment. I got everything out of it and moved in with my mom, like in her she has like a porch on the back, and I have a lot of siblings. So like once you move out, your room is gone. Yeah. So I had to put my mattress on like the back porch for like the rest of that summer. And then I quit the busing job when I got a literally 9 to 5 at Walmart. I did overnights because they pay you more. Sure. And I worked, and that was such a humbling. That was like, to me, that is the start of everything, because I left high school kind of as like this guy that was going to do so much. And then I moved to LA to act, and people think I'm doing so much because you don't really post like your losses as well. So then when I moved back in with my mom, I got a job at the Walmart in Denellen, which is my hometown. So when you see me, I'm just working in the Walmart. There's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing at all.
But it just wasn't for me. And a lot of people had said like, I know that's not for you too. So to sit there and just be humble to everyone, like, oh, this is what you're doing now? Like, you're just working in your hometown at Walmart? And I'm kind of like, yeah, I am. Because I have a bigger plan. Like, my plan was to save this money for the summer, move to Orlando, get in an acting school, and really, because that day he ran into me in the parking lot, the actor, I was like, this is all I needed to see. Nobody else's opinion can tell me anything, because that's all I needed to hear. Like, God is talking to me. It sounds crazy, but I was like, this is the way. I literally sound like a crazy guy. I like broke my lease, moved to my mom's house with a tote bag and my mattress. Like, Mom, God spoke to me. I have to live here. Like, you know what I mean? So I worked at Walmart, and I saw everybody from high school, and they're just like, oh, you know, Kane's working at Walmart now. You know, he's not really doing anything. And then saved up my money, moved to Orlando, and I kind of just disappeared. Like, I was off social media. I was off everything for like a year and a half. I was like, I'm about to like put everything into this. And I got into an acting school in Orlando. It was like 6 months long. And I said, I'm going to outwork everybody in here. Whatever I don't know, I'll learn. If you think I'm a horrible actor, I'll get better. Like, I'm going to pursue this. Like, he spoke to me.
Tell me about day one of acting school. What was your expectations? What was the reality?
So I had no expectation.
Okay.
Like, of course, being from where I'm from, there's no actors. There's nobody that knows anything about the business. I didn't know. I thought like they give you a script, you work on it. Like, I had no clue. And then it was cool because it goes in phases. So like there's intermediate acting, and then there's advanced, but you have to start in an intermediate to move to advanced. So my day one was kind of like, I was more ahead of other people because I had 2 commercials under my belt. Like, a lot of these people were in it to book commercials or how to get on commercials, or they just want to do a hobby or something. But for me, I was like, no, this is like serious for me. I'm gonna make it. And then like every day after class, I would talk to the acting coach, and I'd be like, hey, what do you think I need to work on? Like, I don't have a fallback plan. Like, this is it for me. Like, I'm trying to make it. I really want to make it. And he kind of was like, he saw the fire in my eyes and would really like work with me outside. And then I did it intermediate, and then like a week later we started the advanced class, which is where like now you have the skills to like intermediate's more of commercial acting. They just teach you the basics, and then the advanced is more like film. Like, I'm going to teach you what happens on set, like how to read script, things like that. And then at the end of that there's a showcase, which is where he gives you a script to partner with someone in the class, and you guys, there's like a small stage there, and then you perform it on the stage, and then agents will come from the area and watch you, which is pretty standard. They do that in Los Angeles as well. And I got signed out of there to an agent that has ties to TV shows, because I told him, I was like, I don't want to do commercials. Like, there's nothing wrong with them, but I really want to make a name for myself in the film. And like, that's how you can grow your acting careers in the film, because it's very rare to book like a huge commercial where you're like known and get all this money, and then you can hone your craft, because it's just, I don't know, it's just not that, it's harder to do out of Orlando. So I said, this is what I want to do. So she signed me, and she had a lot of connections. I think it was like 22 Talent was the name of their agency, and they signed me, and she's in Orlando, but she bases her company out of Atlanta. So you get a lot of auditions through there. And a lot of my friends that I know in the Orlando area have signed with her, because it's hard to break out into the Los Angeles market.
And can we just talk just briefly about the hub that Atlanta has become for TV production, even filmmaking? Like, it's almost like more productions are happening in Georgia than they are in California these days.
Right. And I heard it has like a tax. There's something about the taxes that goes into filming, like with the production companies, but I don't know nothing about taxes, so I don't really know why.
No, I don't know either, but I just know that
it's booming. It's getting bigger, and it's getting bigger every year. And a lot of people are moving. It's low key becoming the new Atlanta or new Los Angeles, because a lot of people are moving there. I have a lot of friends that live there and have moved there from Los Angeles. It's cheaper, and they're doing film as well. Yeah. So, I signed with them, and then when I first got signed, I was like, okay, this is the opportunity, because my acting coach was also with this same agency. Okay. So I was like, oh yeah, this is huge. But while I was signed with them, literally like 2 months into it, and those who don't know, you can sign up for like little agencies around Florida. Like, if you want to become an actor or anything, you just kind of Google the agency, send in your headshot and resume, and they'll just put you on file. Like, in case anything comes up, they'll just send stuff out to you. I never really booked anything like that until this day. But 2 months after I signed with that agency out of my acting class, I get a call from one of those agencies, like just a random one I kept trying to sign up for, but like while I was in acting school, just trying to figure it out. And they said, "Hey, Kane." I said, "Yeah, who's this?" And they're like, "Oh, it's so-and-so with this agency." And I was like, "Oh, okay." It's my first time hearing from them. And he was like, "Hey, I got this, the company Champ Sports?" I said, "Yeah." And they're like, "Yeah, they want to sign you to model for them." And I said, "Well, what do you mean? You got to like audition or something?" Because I'm in like an actor's brain. And they're like, no, they like your look. They just want you to model for them. And I said, "Oh, cool. So like, what happens?" And they're like, "Well, do you confirm?" I was like, "Yeah." And they're like, "All right, well, we'll just send over the details." So I guess like they had a hub in Tampa, and I just drove over there, and they put me in a hotel for like 2-3 days, and we shot. And I was like their back to school campaign model for their line. So I was like in all the Champ stores and all the nations. But it wasn't like like they just gave me a check for it, and then that was that. But my picture stayed up for like a year and a half, 2 years. So I was getting noticed by like everyone, like my friends and family and stuff. Like, that's so cool. And that kind of was just like, that's really cool. Like, that kind of sparked me of like, oh, I got to keep going. That's really cool to see. That's the first time I really saw myself out there like that. And then I remember after that was while I was living in Orlando, the rent on my apartment went up by like $1,000. That was like right before COVID hit. So like everything was like getting really expensive. And I was like, I can't really afford this. Like, I was back to like, what do I do? Again, still making no. Oh, and then I'm sorry. When I booked the Champ Sports thing, the agency I was with outside of the acting school, 2 separate agents, she called me and she was like, "Hey, you can't do that Champ Sports thing." And I was like, "Why?" She's like, "Because you're signed exclusive with us, meaning you can't do anything with anybody else." And I was like, "But this is a really big opportunity. Like, this could help you guys, because I could put it on my resume." And she's like, "That's just how it is." Yeah. And she's like, "But we're not going to we will never hold an actor back from doing what they want to do. So if that's what you want to do, we're going to have to part ways." And I was like, dang, like, they have pretty good ties to like shows and stuff like that and auditions, but this is in my face right now to go model for Champs. So that's what I did. I went and I kind of just cut ties with them and just went to model for Champs. Cause like, even though I don't do anything with this other agency, they still have it for me right now. And that's a check. Like I'm working, I'm serving tables at the time. So I was like, this is more than I'll make in like a month. So I'm going to take it. So I took it. And then that check helped me I moved to Port St. Lucie after that, cause my rent went up. So I found a real cheap house down there, just moved down there. And with some friends. And then while I was down there, I was in a really deep depression because I was like, I didn't want to leave Orlando. Like, I just did an acting school. All my acting friends are there, like, that I know of so far. I don't want to leave this area. But I just felt like something was pulling me away. And then again, like, don't fight the signs that you see in your life, the little signs. And I live by that because that's a higher power speaking to you. So I moved down to Port St. Lucie. And I'm like, what do I do down here? Like, I've never been here. Don't even really know where I am. It's just kind of it's just where life took me after that. And I remember I was super, super depressed. I'd never been depressed in my life. And this was kind of like, because I was like, what do I do now? Like, how do I get to the next step of like getting an agent, getting in Los Angeles? Like, what do I do? So I went to the pool of the complex down there one day. And I'm just sitting there, and this older lady, she's just sitting there too with her husband, and she starts talking to me. She's like, hey, what do you do? You're really handsome. And I was like, oh, I do a little modeling. I'm trying to be an actor, but I don't really know how. I'm serving tables. Like, I don't know. Went to a little acting school. I'm trying to figure it out. And she goes, okay, well, hey, my best friend is an agent. And I said, everybody says that. Yeah. Like, once you get in the industry, you'll realize everybody says, oh, I'm an agent, I'm a manager, I can get you on this, I can get you on that. And then once you hear it like 50 times, you're kind of like, man, whatever. Like, you got to show me, you have to show me what it is. And she's like, no, I'm serious. My best friend, she's an agent in Los Angeles. And I was like, all right, whatever. So she's like, no. So she FaceTimes her right there at the pool. She's like, hey, look at this kid. Look how handsome he is. You should sign him. And she goes, all right, let's set up a meeting. So I was like, okay. Still didn't think anything of it because
you've heard this before.
Yeah. And what are the odds you're really a big time agent in Los Angeles? Why do you know this lady here in Port St. Lucie? So she's like, she gives her my number. She texts me, let's set up a meeting for Monday. It was like Thursday or something. So we set up a Zoom meeting for Monday. We talk. She's the real deal. She's like, yeah. She's like, I was with a bigger agency, like a really big agency in Los Angeles. But I left because I had too many clients and didn't feel personable to my clients. So now I open my own agency and I keep a tight list of like 10 people. And she's like, I really like your look. And she was kind of like, what sets you apart? Because you don't really have anything on your resume except 2 commercials. And it makes sense to me now because I was like, if it was me, I wouldn't sign a kid that, like, that's their name on the line as well. Right. And you're pitching me to like Netflix and Hulu, like these big projects. And I have 2 little commercials on my line where I just moved the coffee pot. Like, I didn't do anything. So she was like, what sets you apart? And I was like, my work ethic. I was like, I'll work harder than anybody. And coming from high school with the whole football thing, like, I was lazy. You know, I was talented, but I was lazy. Like, I didn't have the work ethic I needed to have to make it. And I feel like part of the reason that's why I got injured too, because like I wasn't in the weight room like I needed to be. I wasn't training like I needed to be. I didn't have the mindset I needed to have. So when I got this opportunity with acting, I was kind of like, I'm going to work harder than anybody else because there's no way I'm going to look back and be like, I didn't give it all I had and I didn't make it. You know what I mean? Like, I can't do that again. So that's why I told her that story. I was kind of like, I'll work harder than anybody you have. And then she was like, all right. She signed me. And then I had my acting school under my belt. So I had a little skills and I was like, I can do what I need to do to get to the next level and keep learning. And then literally after she signed me, or she was like, you need to get better headshots. And I said, okay, what do I do? Like, I'm very new. I have no one to call, no one in this industry I know. She was like, I don't know what anybody's money is, but the best headshots are in LA. She's like, I'm not telling you to fly here. I would never tell you to like spend your money, but find a really good one in Orlando and send me like their stuff so I can check them. And then I was like, you know what? What do you recommend in LA? So she said it. I took everything in my bank account and flew to LA, got a hotel, got a rental car, got these headshots done again at this place. And then I flew back and I got them. They sent them over. I sent them to her. She's like, these are great. Posted it on Instagram. And when I did, I wouldn't say it went viral, but it kind of caught on the For You page, meaning like a lot of strangers see it because I put like the location, I tagged the photographer, I tagged like all the places. And my manager today saw it on Instagram and he DM'd me and he's like, these are amazing. Like, these are amazing headshots. And he's like, are you signed? And I was like, I'm about to sign like tomorrow. And he was like, I want to sign you. I set up a meeting. So I set up a meeting with him. He literally did a Zoom meeting with me and was like, you only have 2 things on your resume. Like, what sets you apart? And I was like, told him the same thing. I was like, my work ethic. And he has like huge clients, like millionaires, like millions of followers, and leads in movies, things like that. So I was like, look, man, I know you have these people, but I'm trying to get in the mix. Like, trust me, I can do it. And he was like, all right, let's do it. So then he signs me that day. I had got signed by the agent. Then I get the audition for All American. It's like my second ever audition, and I book it for a co-star. And it just like, my mind was blown because I actively watched All American, and then there's a spinoff All American Homecoming, and that's the one I booked it as a co-star. It turned into a recurring. So I went from being in 1 episode to like the whole season. So that kind of like started my acting journey. It was like the first time I was on TV.
But what's, again, the question I'm going to ask you is, what's the first day on set like? What were your expectations? What was the reality?
I think that was the perfect thing for me, being on the first day on set, because again, in acting school, they don't teach you like what set looks like. They teach you the script. They teach you how to act. So when you get on set, you don't know what even a second AD is. You don't know, but you're supposed, like, they act like they do. So like, you know what I mean? When you get there, they expect you to know all these things. They send you a call sheet and it looks absolutely insane because there's like thousands of names and like setups they have to have in locations. And I'm like, I don't even know what I'm looking at. Just tell me my name and my time and I'll be there. So I get there and it was supposed to be like a 4 or 5 hour shoot. I think I had to be there at like 5 a.m., which is nothing. I'm there. I was there until like 2 a.m. the next day. So to me, again, I'm not tired. It's my first day on set in Los Angeles. And it was like, we shot at location. So like I got in the shuttle. I had to like go to a place. We shot there. But I was so like starstruck because you do hair and makeup at like Warner Brothers or wherever. I don't remember where we did it. And then they shuttle you to the location. And then when you get out, it's like hundreds of people there that work for Warner Brothers that are like setting up the set or security or catering, or like you have an assistant for you. And then there's like the director and then the second AD. And then there's like sometimes a third. And then there's the sound guy, you know what I mean? So while you're setting up for your scene, there's the barber's there checking your hair. The makeup's there, like touching your face, picking on you. The person that does the wardrobe is there fixing your wardrobe. They're moving stuff behind you. I'm sitting there with my scene partner. We're about to film in like 2 minutes. So I'm like, what is going on? And then my scene partner's in front of me. The director's there. And then he's kind of like having us run through it. But I'm all like looking around like, what are we doing? Like, why are all these people here? That was like the craziest thing. That was like the craziest thing to me. I'll never forget was how many people are actually there. And then like when they get the shot, they literally just move everyone outside the camera angle. So it looks like no one's there, but there's 100 people just all watching you like this. And I remember I was so nervous because I was like, I didn't know people would be watching me like that. Like in my mind, I think it's just me, the other actor, the director. I don't know why, it may be like the camera guy, but I didn't think that there was so many people. And it's just like, there's like people to help and assistants everywhere. So that first day we did it. And I'm looking at the guy that I was acting with was already a series regular on the show. So I'm looking at him like, is this normal? He was like, what? Yeah, you're good. I was like, okay, cool. And then he did his scene, or he did his take because it was over my shoulder first to start off. And I saw him do it. And I'm looking at all these people and I'm like, oh yeah, if he can do it, I can do it. We're good. Let's roll. So then I did it. And then I was just kind of like, wow. And then I got to see how long it takes to set up for shots. And then I got to see what happens when we don't get the right shot. And then where we shot, it was somewhere in LA where the planes they were like landing. So we had to wait between, and it just kept dragging it out because the planes were so loud. And then like we were on the corner of a busy street too. So people kept trying to run up and take pictures and like all that. So security and how it was like the entire thing you wanted to see on the first day. Cause I haven't had that type of day since that day, even with the same show. So I was like, wow. And I remember I got back to my hotel and I was like, wow, that was was amazing. Like I saw everything I needed to see in one day as far as like what can go wrong or what can go right or how long it can get extended for.
How long did it take you to sort of settle in on that shoot? Like, all right, I've got this. I mean, you had it the first time. Your very first scene, you're like, I can do this. I can do this. But how long is it before you're just like, all right, I'm settled in. Let's do it.
I think after I said my lines the first time.
Yeah.
Because they do a couple shots. Like you get a couple good, like you get it probably like 4 times I'll say my lines. So I think the first one was kind of me just saying them, not acting them. I was just saying the lines, and I was kind of like, oh, that wasn't really that good. I'm so nervous right now. Like I don't really expect all this. And then the second time I was like, all right, I'm good. Because the kid next to me, I think it was his first day on set. It was 3 of us, and he was a co-star as well. And I think it was his first day too. And I remember I was like, I can do what you're doing. I can do what he's doing. We can all do it. You know what I mean? So let's just do it. And then after the first take, I was kind of like, oh yeah, I'm good. I'm good to go.
So you finish shooting for the day on this show. Okay. You're staying at a hotel. They give you a per diem, all that good stuff. Yeah. Okay. So
no, actually. So no. So when I signed with my agent and manager, I had to sign as LA local, meaning because I had no skin in the game, like nothing. I said, I'll do whatever. Like just get me in the game. I'll do whatever. I don't care. I'll sleep on the floor if I have to. Like I'll do whatever to get in the door. So I remember when you do co-star roles, which it goes like co-star is the first, then it's like recurring, strong recurring, guest star, recurring, guest star, series regular. So it's like a ladder you have to go up, and you can't even like really get considered for a series regular or anything until you have so much on the ladder. So being my first co-star, all co-stars are like local hires because they're not going to pay to fly you out and put you up if you're just going to say like 2 lines on the show, which is co-stars only a couple lines per episode. So I remember when I booked All American, it was like, hey, you booked it, but you have to get yourself out here and get yourself to set. And I'm like, that's fine. I don't care. And I had just turned 25 so I could rent a car. So I flew out there. I had to fly myself out there like a real cheap, like Spirit, you know what I mean? Like a real cheap flight. I got a rental car for like $20 a day. And then
you're paying for your hotel?
Yeah. Okay, but I found it was like it was the Quality Inn in Burbank. It was like, it looked real sketchy from the outside, but the inside was so nice. And it was only like $40 a day because I had no money. Like I'm still not working like a regular job. And I'm like, and I knew this, what I'm doing now, I was never in it for the money. It was like, I just want the experience so I can move up. Like I'm trying to get bigger. And my mom said, just get a credit card. Just get like a major credit card for like $5,000-$6,000 limit. Put it all on the credit card. When you get paid, pay it off. I was like, you know what? Wow, I didn't even think of that. That's exactly what I did. Got a credit card, paid for everything on it. Even like my food and everything, because I'd eat real minimal because they feed you on set. So I was like, if I could just eat a little bit when I get there, I'll be fine. And then, I did that for like my first 3 shows.
Okay.
And I was on set like multiple days for those shows. So I just like within the last like 2 years that I start getting flown out and like really emerging into what I can do.
Well, that just to go back to, I guess you answered a good portion of that question, but when you're not on set, but you're still in the process of filming this first show, what are you doing in your downtime? All right, I mean,
I went back to school at the time.
Okay.
So I got a bachelor's in business marketing just in case. Like I was like, you know what? Just in case. So I was doing online school. It was all online. And I remember I was, cause co-star, like I said, when I do co-star roles, it's only like 2 or 3 lines. So it's nothing crazy like at all. So I had it down pat before I even left for the airport. And in the hotel room, I usually just, I was doing homework at the time. I would jog a little bit, just drive around LA. It's LA. So I'd always find stuff to do. And that was it. And then one of my friends that I had originally moved out there with had still lived there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'd go see him. We'd hang out. Okay. Yeah.
That's awesome. Let's talk about Grey's Anatomy.
Let's do it.
Let's talk about booking that show.
Okay.
So how does that happen? I mean, obviously I know now the process of how it happens, but what's your reaction when you find out you're booking arguably one of the most popular television shows of the past 20 years?
So that was the craziest booking that I had simply because I was going back to film season 2 for All American. The night I had got that audition, I had to fly out at like 4 a.m. the next day. I'm like 2 hours from the airport. So I had to leave at like 1, like to get there by like 2:30 if I speed, you know what I mean? Because I'm not the guy that's there 2 hours early. Like I'm going to make my flight, but I'm not 2 hours early. So my flight was at like 4:30, 5 in the morning. So I had to be up at like 2 o'clock. And I remember I was packing that night to go film. And I had more lines at the time. Now I'm getting a little bit more lines. Season 2, I already proved myself a little bit. So I was kind of like, I wasn't nervous, but I was kind of like, I got to be ready. I think it was like 3 pages of lines. And I was studying them as I was packing. And it was like 7, 8 at night. My manager calls me because it's only like 4 o'clock in LA. I'm sorry, my agent calls me and she says, hey, I got you an audition for Grey's Anatomy. And I know the show. I had never seen it, but I know, of course, you know what Grey's Anatomy is. And I said, okay, cool. Yeah, that's awesome. She goes, yeah, it's just a co-star role because that's all I was doing at the time. And she was like, but it has to be in tonight. And I said, what do you mean? She's like, it has to be turned in tonight. Because usually it's like you'll get an audition on like a Tuesday. It's due by Friday. You'll get it on a Thursday. It's due by Monday. Like it's just like a 3 or 4 day turnaround. I've only had like 2 or 3 times where like it's got to be done the same night. And I was like, what? And she was like, yeah. And then, but she's like, it's only a couple lines. I was like, all right. And one thing I'm really good at is memorizing script. Like, give me an hour, I can have like 4 pages down. She sends it over, and I said, I have a reader, and I said, I'm gonna do 1 take, because usually when you first start, you're doing like 10 takes because you just want to get the right one, and that turns into a problem because then you won't be ready for set. So I try to limit myself to 2 takes. 2 takes, that's it. But I remember I was like I always get so overworked when I have to travel and like do all this stuff. I don't like any distractions. Like I don't like anything pulling me out of my zone because I'm just so locked in. And I remember I was packing and I said, I'm doing 1 take and then I'm back packing. Cause in my mind, I wasn't thinking like of how big a show Grey's Anatomy is. I'm thinking I'm already going to film a big show on Netflix, like a show I actively watch. Like I like the show. This is what I'm focused on. I'm doing 1 take and that's it. So I did 1 take. Sent it in. I don't even think I watched it. I think I just sent it in. And then they called me while I was filming All American and said, hey, you booked it. I said, booked what? And they're like, you booked Grey's Anatomy. And I was like, what? And I remember my mom and my grandmother were like going crazy because they loved that show. Sure. And then me never seeing it, I was just kind of like, oh, cool. Like just the next step. But everybody, like so many people saw it. Everybody's reaching out to me because my manager posts like what I book. And I shared it to my page and everybody was reaching out to me like, oh my God, it's amazing. And I was like, yeah, that's cool. And then it was my first time filming 2 shows simultaneously. So Grey's Anatomy had me out there for like 3 weeks. And then All American had me out there for a week. So I was literally like on set here and then would drive to another studio the next day and film there and then drive back and film there. And that was my first feel of like really living the life of working every day. However, I was co-star on both shows. So I had to pay for everything out there on my own, which kind of was a downside to the whole thing, but it was good for I was like, I'm not here for the money. I'm here for the experience.
Sure. What's the difference between filming a series and a feature film? Because you did a Lifetime movie. Mm-hmm. Okay. So well, I guess let's talk about that, booking that movie and then because I'm just curious how much different the 2 experiences are, filming a movie versus a series.
Filming a movie to me, it feels like it's a slower pace.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Yeah, I don't know why, because they make you wait either way. Like either way, you're waiting around as an actor. But I feel like as like a whole, filming a movie is a slower pace because there's not really a time limit on it. I feel like when you're filming shows, you're actively putting out episodes. So it's like, we got to have this done by this date and you have to get this shot by this time and this time. But then filming a movie was kind of like, you want to get another take? Are we good? Like there wasn't really a rush on it. And I felt like it's more close knit because you guys are together. I mean, you're together a lot with with shows as well, but I know like on different seasons they bring out, it could be a different crew.
Different director, different...
Right. Yeah. And even, you're right, even on shows, they'll have a different director for each episode sometimes.
So they have a showrunner, but then...
Right. Yeah. The directors are different. But with a movie, like, it's the same people every single day. And you're at different locations every single day. Because with a movie, I haven't really filmed any movies at like a facility like Warner Brothers or Universal or Paramount. It's always like at different locations. So it's kind of cool to like move around as a group. And that's really it. I've only done like 1 major movie. I don't really have too much experience to talk about it, but just personally, I just felt like it was slower pace and everyone was a little closer.
And booking that movie? How does that process? How does that happen?
So it was the same. I got the audition, and I did it, and then they didn't do a callback or anything. I just booked it right out the gate from that one. And I remember the director, she told me she booked me out the gate because she loved my acting, of course, but she said everybody's a good actor that's auditioning. It's about what you can do to stand out. Yeah. If you even get the audition, you're doing something right. And she said what stood out to her was that I had jewelry on and no one else did. So I have like a thin gold necklace I wear, and I have like stud diamond earrings that I wear. And she said a lot of actors will like take their jewelry off for auditions. And you're taught that in acting school to really just kind of be bare. They can add on to what they need. Sure. But I remember the role was kind of like, you're a star athlete in high school. You're the most popular guy in school. And I'm like, you have a chain on. You wear some earrings if you're that guy. Like if you're him, you'll do it. And that was just my mindset for that character. And I did it. And that's what she told me on set. She was like, you're the only one that like kept your jewelry on. And she's like, that really like, it gave you like a confidence boost that nobody had. Was there ever a thought of, I'm doing at one point you're doing two shows at the same time.
Was there ever a thought in your mind, maybe I'll go back to LA or maybe I'll move back there at some point when things just because things are progressing in the right direction.
Right.
Where you're still living in Florida right now, but is that thought entering your head at all?
It will if it has to be.
Sure.
So if I book a series regular, my whole thing was because there's a certain price they have to pay you to be exclusive to a show. Right. Meaning you can't do other shows unless you get the okay from them, because you have like slots. So if I book a series regular, one thing in the contract they're going to say is we want to be your number one slot. Meaning like if I book another series regular, I book something else and the filming dates conflict, or our filming window is from August to November. You can't do anything in August and November, no matter how big it is. Even if they're going to pay you $1 million, you can't do it.
That's like when Variety reports about their scheduling conflicts.
Right.
That kind of basically explains what that means when they say, I always, before I understood how that worked, I'd always be like, well, so-and-so, they wanted so-and-so to do this show or this movie about scheduling conflicts, but that perfectly explains it.
It's in your contract that, but the price, I think they have to pay you, I want to say $60,000 an episode for them to be able to make you exclusive. Anything under that, they're not going to do it, or your manager or agent won't have you do that. So yeah, you can't film anything else if that's the case, unless it's like a smaller recurring role or something. And I honestly don't know if you can do another series regular, just because eventually if you get more seasons, they might clash into each other, but I'm not sure.
Okay. All right. No, fair enough. And then again, I'm realizing as I'm asking you the question about moving to LA, but again, we've talked about how big Atlanta has become. So
I didn't even answer that. If I would move to LA, if the price was right, like say I was exclusive to a show and we got more than one season, I always said that. Like if I do a show and they say they give me $60,000-$70,000 an episode, I'll get like a small studio out there to film season 1. Even though they put you up anyway, I might just be put up. And then for season 2, if we come back, because they always got to pay you more for like the second and third and fourth seasons. Sure. Like your contract goes, it's renegotiating, things like that. I always said like I'll probably get like a small house like in the outskirts, like northern LA. If we can get like a 2, 3, 4 season show, then I'd make that move, because at that point you're kind of in the mix as far as like in the acting industry. And then once you book something that big, like you just get offered roles. People just, hey, come be on this show, or hey, we want Kane to do this, or sponsored by this. So then you kind of have to be in the mix more. But I think I'll always have a house in Florida just because like, I really like it here.
I get it. Listen, I'm originally from Canada. I've lived in Florida for 28 years.
Okay.
I love it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Canada's actually a huge hub for filming.
Absolutely.
Ontario, I did audition last night that shoots in Ontario.
There you go. Mm-hmm. You've got some things coming up.
I do.
I know that we're limited on some of the things we can talk about. But what do you mean?
So I just did a show with Tyler Perry, Divorce Sisters. That was the newest experience in acting, because he shoots so fast. One thing Tyler Perry says is he doesn't have time. Meaning, like, we're not going to wait around.
Talk about it. Tell me a little bit about this, because I'm always about how I want to know how this works.
Right.
So
Tyler Perry, filming at Tyler Perry Studios has been on my bucket list, my acting bucket list, since I got signed. I was like, I want to work there. Like, I want to do that. And when I booked the the show, there was no callback or anything. And I was kind of like, why? And then they said, because Tyler Perry actively watches everybody's tape. So he's the one casting you, not the casting director. And because I'm thinking he's a billionaire, he has zero hands on to this. He just kind of creates it, because I know he writes everything. He creates it and then just goes away. And they were like, no, he does everything. And he really does do it. Like he walks in and everything's already set up, because he's not wasting a second. And he walks in and I was so nervous for this, because it's Tyler Perry. Like you're filming and he's directing. He's right there. He's in the room with you. He's actively telling you what to do.
I just can't believe he's still like you like.
Yeah,
you said, like,
I couldn't believe that. I was like, you're lying. There's no way. He's a billionaire. There's no way. But that's like his true passion, is creating these films. So he's in there and he'll be like, he doesn't even really let you like rehearse your lines. So like, back up. Filming for Tyler Perry was the first time I felt like I got my due diligence as an actor.
Okay.
So he sent a car to get me from my house to the airport, flew me to Atlanta first class, put me in like a suite. Like it was a huge thing. And then on top of that, he is just there to help you with your craft and kind of like mentors you on what to do. So he films so fast. So he'll have it set up. So we get there and he'll be like, "You guys know your lines? Yeah. All right, action." Come on. Before he really even knows what's about to go on. So everyone was telling me that too. Like, he films fast, so you got to come ready. You got to come ready. We'll do like 120 pages of script a day. Usually,
that's insane.
A day. So usually when you film like a show for Netflix or something, they'll do an episode a week. That's the standard, like Monday to Friday, one episode. He does like 2 a day.
Come on.
It's insane. We filmed the whole season in like 2 weeks.
Come on. That's awesome.
16 episodes, 2 weeks.
I mean, but that's why he is who he is.
Right.
I mean, you want to talk about drive, you want to talk about work ethic.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
you feel like
incredible.
you're not doing enough when you're around him.
I mean, things have just been topped. I had Phil Joannou. He's a writer-director. He was discovered by Spielberg and Zemeckis back in '84.
Okay.
And Spielberg invited him on the set of Amazing Stories, which was an anthology, like Twilight Zone anthology-style series. And Spielberg was directing the first episode, and he invited Phil on there. And Phil says, "Stephen does 2 takes."
Yeah.
And he goes on to the next one.
Yep.
And I was like, man, that's insane. You've just topped that.
Yeah.
With what you said about Tyler.
He does one take.
Yeah.
2 if you're lucky.
If you're lucky.
Like, if you're lucky, you got to come ready. Because I think he only did 2 for me probably like 1 time. And I was just like, that's insane. Like, he's in the room. Like, he's not even there. There's nothing. Like, if this room, there'll be nothing in here. And then you'll just see like, it's like ants. Like, people just come in with everything, like director chair, cameras, setting up. Awesome. And then he walks in. He's like, "I'm ready to go. Let's get it going. I'm ready to go." And then he's like, "You know your lines?" "Yes, sir." "You know your lines?" "Yes, sir." "Action." Come on. And then we do it. And then he'll direct you as it's going, because he can edit his voice out. He'll be like, "Now say it this way. Speak up. All right, bring it down. I like it. Cut. Next scene." And then everyone just disperses. He goes to a whole new building. He's gone.
Never been on it. I've never experienced anything like that.
Oh, no, and you won't anywhere else. Yeah.
Anything else you can talk about?
I just booked a really big role, so I'll be gone for about 3 months. I can't say anything more about it.
Okay, but that's good. That's exciting.
Yeah,
though.
and
it's exciting.
I think it. Yeah, it's pretty much all I can say.
You know, we'll put a to be continued
for sure. Yeah,
on
yeah, because I know like by January, February, it'll be wide open. It'll be pretty big.
Before we wrap things up, I'm going to ask you this, and I like to ask this question of anyone that's in front of the camera. All right, you've been doing this for a little bit now.
Right,
you're getting seasoned at what you do.
Right.
Okay. Is there the itch, or is there the thought of ever getting behind the camera at some point and creating a project of your own?
I believe so, because I have a lot of stuff I've written that I'd like to do. It's just I don't know what I don't know yet. Right. So I write script, but I'm not a script writer. Like, there's stuff I don't know how to do. Like, I have a script right now where I have a good beginning, a good end. I don't have a middle. I don't know how to give people side missions. Like, I don't really understand how to do that. I'd love to direct, but I don't know how to. Like, I don't know what to tell you to do this way. Like, I can say it as an actor, like what I think should happen.
Right.
But I don't know the correct terms that a director would think in. I don't know like what they're looking for even. I don't know like what camera angles you need, because I don't see myself when we act. I say my lines, director says cut, we go to our trailer. Like, I don't get to see what he's looking at. I don't get to like what he's telling his assistant. I don't see it. So
Okay.
I would like to, yeah, but I don't really know how to yet. And I know a lot of actors get that opportunity once they get higher in the game. So if it ever presented itself, I'll take it for sure, and I would learn for sure. But yeah, I don't have enough knowledge to do that yet.
All right. Final question, Kane. Do you watch yourself?
I'm my biggest critic.
Yep.
I am my biggest critic. I always feel like my acting is bad. I always feel like I could do stuff better. And then anytime someone tells me, "Oh, that was great," I'm like, "You're just saying that because you know me. Like you're not being for real." Like, but that's why I love my manager and agent, because I'll send in an audition and they'll be like, "I don't like it," and I'll be like, "Why?" And they'll be like, "The acting's not bad. The choices just aren't what you should have made." And it's really rare that they say that, because I feel like I'm pretty well versed in like what my character should say or do. And like my auditions are really, really good, but I just see myself on TV. I don't know if it's just hearing my own voice or what it is, but I never like what I do. I'm always like, oh, I could be better. Like I always learn from it. I'm always trying to get better.
That's important.
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, I've watched a lot of you, and I think you're fantastic. I think it's great.
Thank you.
But I love that mentality of being a critic of yourself, because the moment you shift to I got this, that's
right.
that's that for anybody in any industry they're in. I've been doing this show for 12 years, 700 episodes. You come into the studio, I'm nervous. I still get, I'm not sitting there going, I got this, no problem. Because I want to do a good job, and so I think that's awesome. That was a great response.
Yeah. And a lot of times it's the setup that's there. Like maybe the other actor, you guys don't mesh as well, or maybe you're in an awkward position sitting down to make it harder. Like a lot of times that plays into it, but at the end of the day, like this is your profession. Like you got to put all that to the side. So I always critique myself as like, oh, I could have done this better, or I could have done that better. It's very rare I'll see a scene where I was like, oh yeah, I killed that. Right. I killed that. But I know a couple in the Lifetime movies I did really like more than the other shows I've been on, because that's like the most recent thing I've done that's out that I can see actively. So that was really cool.
So Kane, before I let you go, I got a lot of listeners who are going to want to keep up with you. All right.
Okay.
What's the best way for them to do that?
You can follow me on Instagram at Kane Parks 0. So KaneParks 0. And that's the main platform I'm on as far as posting what I'm on. My management and agent are on there as well. So my management company's in the bio. Even if you want to reach out to them, they're always taking people. If it's your passion, if you're reaching for it, go ahead and reach out to them. Tell them I sent you. Send them your resume. But yeah, follow me there, and then you can be up to date on everything I have going on.
Awesome. We'll be checking back.
Thank you, sir.
Sure.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Thank you for having me. This is great.
Listen, thank you so much for doing this.
Of course.
And I just want to let everybody know there's a link in this episode show notes where you can one-click right to Kane's Instagram. So, Kane, listen, I know you got a busy schedule. It means the world to me that you took a little time to come over to the studio and share your what I'll call an incredible story. And I'm so excited just to continue to follow that journey that you're on. So thank you for being on the show.
Of course. Thank you.
Absolutely, everybody. My name is Dana Buckler, and thank you so much for listening.